Today's headline: an appeals court overturned a lower court's dismissal of lawsuits alleged to Tylenol use during pregnancy being linked to autism and ADHD. In plain English, families who say their children now struggle with neurodevelopmental disorders because their mothers took acetaminophen are back in court, thanks to a decision by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the BA Second Circuit. The case is riding on scientific debate, not politics. The story began a little more than a year ago, when President Donald Trump and top health advisors warned that taking acetaminophen, the active painkiller in Tylenol, while pregnant could heighten the risk of autism and ADHD in offspring. A federal district judge, Democrat appointed, later threw out those lawsuits, claiming the expert evidence was unreliable and cherry-picked. The expert was Dr. Andrea Beccarelli, dean of Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health. She had presented a report saying there was substantial evidence for a causal link between frequent, high-dose acetaminophen use during pregnancy and neurodevelopmental disorders, especially autism and ADHD. Judge Denise Cote, in a December ruling, sided with Tylenol's lawyers and found Dr. Beccarelli's testimony unreliable, arguing it misrepresented data and had cherry-picked studies. The families and their litigation partner, Keller Postman, appealed, arguing that the evidence should be considered because it reflects a legitimate scientific dispute. That appeal was taken up by the Second Circuit, a panel that includes Judges Gerard Lynch, Stephen M. Kapoor, and Judith C. O'Connor. On Monday, Judge Lynch and his colleagues reversed the lower court's decision. In their opinion, the expert testimony was valid evidence bridge about a scientific question that was still under dispute. They noted that while some studies point to a small increase in risk, large, well-designed trials that control for genetics and other confounders have found no convincing evidence that acetaminophen causes autism or ADHD. Senior medical bodies, such as the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, consistently label Tylenol as the safest option to treat pain or fever during pregnancy, reminding patients that untreated fevers can pose risks to both mother and fetus, including neurodevelopmental concerns. The appeals court explicitly recognized the national spotlight on the issue. The panel wrote that the debate has become political, but our issue before us is not political. They emphasized that the legal question rests on whether the expert evidence should be considered, not on policy positions. Judge Lynch pointed out that reasonable scientists do appear to disagree and that the court should allow that disagreement to play out before the judge cannot exclude it outright. Kelly Postman's lead attorney, Ashley Keller, described Monday's ruling as vindication for the scientific evidence we presented. She argued that dropping the cases to prevent plaintiffs from litigating a genuine scientific debate would set a dangerous precedent for future science-based claims. So, what does this mean for patients and for the broader conversation? The court has cleared the path for the lawsuits to proceed, allowing families to seek damages in state court, and it keeps alive the legal scrutiny of acetaminophen's safety profile. Meanwhile, clinicians and patients remain guided by professional consensus that acetaminophen is the safest analgesic in pregnancy, particularly when fever presents a threat. What's the bigger picture? A federal court has decided that doubts about a drug's safety can be litigated even when science is unsettled. The ruling also signals that the judiciary will not shy away from controversial issues, even when they mingle with politics. For now, the debate continues, both in the courts and in the lab, while health professionals keep weighing the risks of untreated fever against the reassurance that acetaminophen does not appear, based on the best evidence, to cause autism or ADHD. Thank you for tuning in to hear how a recent appeals court decision is not just legal drama but also part of our ongoing conversation about the drugs we use in pregnancy. Stay healthy, stay informed, and we'll keep you updated on this story. Until next time, this is your host, goodbye.